Coming up on this edition of Parkland TV, we share healthy living tips and figure out what the next few weeks may look like. I'm Kylie Duff. Stay tuned for this and more on Parkland TV. Today is Friday, April 3rd. Welcome to Week 3 of Parkland TV Off the Air. To start our show, Mr. Moniz establishes where we are in an official capacity.
Good afternoon, Parkland High School. Mr. Moniz here, checking in with everyone. I hope everyone's hanging tough during our coronavirus outbreak. As a former history teacher, I was always impressed with FDR's Fireside Chats that he did during the Great Depression in the 1930s. So with this in mind, in our current outbreak, I thought I'd get a little fireside chat going for everybody. This truly has been unprecedented for everyone. The fact that we've been home for what is now 3 weeks, going on 4 weeks, is truly something that I don't think anyone could imagine. I hope everyone's hanging in there and is in good spirits. You know, with every crisis comes opportunity, and I hope all of you are taking the time to reconnect with family. Myself, typically, I'm not home as much as I'd like to be. My kids, ages 18, 16, and 14, are very active, so it's not very often that we're all home. And this little stretch of time, while definitely awkward, definitely frustrating, and definitely confusing, has been a great opportunity for us as a family to reconnect. And if you haven't done so already, I highly encourage you to do so. We've been baking together, cooking together, teaching our kids how to drive, how to cook, spending quality time competing in Jeopardy together, playing card games, table games, with the family. So it's been a great stretch. I know my 3 kids also love their personal time, and they need time to get away from each other. So if you're feeling all those emotions, I hope you know that that's completely normal. And in this crisis, which is highly unusual for everyone, all of those feelings are totally natural. If you're experiencing any personal frustrations, or you need someone to talk to, I want you to know that our guidance counselors, our psychologists, your teachers, your administrators, we're all here for you. And we hope that you connect with us and use us if you need some time to talk about some things that you're going through. This stretch of time is unprecedented, so we want to be there for one another. And I'm sure you're there for your family, but I want you to know that you have a lot of resources at school, people that are here for you. To our seniors, this time is like no other. I know you've probably missed out on some opportunities so far, some things that you've looked forward to for 3.5 years of high school. Now these opportunities have been there for you, and you feel like they're slipping through your fingertips. Well, there's not much you can control about that, except trying to find the positive in every single day. And sometimes it's one step at a time, one day at a time. So I encourage you, don't give up and keep looking forward. You're going to have plenty of great opportunities for yourself in the next 6 to 12 months, whether or not you're going into the workforce, you're going into the military, or you're heading off to college. So try to find the positive, and if you're going to be away from your family next year, make sure that the time you spend together right now is more special than ever. What we're going to be doing over the next 2 weeks is kicking into a new format where we want to see all of our students engaged with your teachers and with your coursework. There's a possibility that we're in this stretch, hopefully not, there's a possibility for the duration of the school year. I'd like to think that won't happen, that we'll get back to school after Easter, that we'll get to school in May so that we can continue with the rest of our school year, but we have to prepare ourselves for the worst case scenario. And we're going to be sending out work to you. You're going to be receiving work from your teachers on Monday. We want to make sure that you're completing that work. We want to make sure that you're engaged with what we're doing in case we have to continue this educational pattern from now to the end of the school year. So with that in mind, I just want to say hello. I'll be in touch some more. We're looking to put together some activities to have you engaged in a non-educational way too, so that we continue to build family around this really unprecedented situation for everyone. So with that, it's Mr. Moniz here. I'm signing off. Don't give up. Stay strong. And this is going to be a great experience for everyone. As best we can. Let's just say that. So with that, I have my two puppies. They want to say hello to you. This is Brady, and the lab here, this is Bo. They've been enjoying this break like no other. Come here, guys. Come here, Bo. Come here. This has been the best vacation they've ever had. So we gotta try to make it the best education and best vacation that we can have too. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Moniz. With our current way of school, staying on top of work and comprehending it may be a bit harder than before. News correspondent Zoe Streeter gives some tips on what may help you.
With week 1 of Parkland's online learning system finally done, many of you may still be experiencing anxiety about the transition. I'm here to give you study tips on how to make that transition just a little bit easier while still keeping your head in the game. Tip number 1, set a healthy routine for yourself. It might be as simple as just going to bed earlier than 4 a.m., which I know even I'm guilty of. But trust me, once you find a healthy routine and stick to it, your productivity will be so much better throughout the day. Tip number 2, hold yourself accountable and understand your responsibilities. During these next few weeks of online learning, understand that your assignments are no longer optional. They are mandatory, and they count towards both grades and your attendance of the week. And I don't exactly imagine if we were in a normal school setting, you'd be cutting all of your classes for an entire week. So don't do it now. These assignments are not meant to stress you out. They're simply meant to keep you engaged and motivated to do your schoolwork. Tip number 3, practicing time management and staying organized. I know during these past couple of weeks when assignments were optional and we were just on this weird vacation of sorts, time management was the last thing on any of our minds. Now during this transition to online learning, time management and organization are essential. Some easy things you can do are writing your assignments down in a journal or your assignment book, or just setting a reminder on your phone for when assignments are due. Trust me, this will help you stay on track and focused. Oh, tip number 4, eliminate all distractions. Whether this means turning your phone off and putting it in a drawer, or just studying in a room that isn't yours. Trust me, it'll be so much easier to stay on task when you're not tempted to look at your phone every 5 seconds. Tip number 5, write things down. Staring at a blue light screen all day isn't exactly the best for you, and it doesn't help you retain any information. Studies have shown that you retain far more information when you write things down. So if you find you're having trouble understanding a topic and focusing, try taking notes as though you were in a regular class. Tip number 6, take breaks. Give yourself a minute to rest. Go outside, spend time with family, and do something that you love. Last but certainly not least, please contact your teachers with any questions or troubles that you are having. They're here to help you and guide you through this transition to ensure your success. Reporting, I'm Zoe Streeter.
Thanks, Zoe. While we must adapt to our adjusted lifestyle, it is important we stay healthy the best we can. News correspondent Ireland Truckley shares healthy habits to carry out while in isolation.
Hi everyone, I'm Ireland Truckley. I'm going to show you some ways on how to keep some healthy habits while being isolated at home.
The most important thing to do right now is to wash your hands. Use soap and hot water to get a nice clean. The CDC recommends washing your hands for 20 seconds or singing the happy birthday song through twice. After you are done washing your hands, you want to grab a paper towel to pat dry your hands and to get all the excess bacteria and germs off. Use hand sanitizer after you are done washing your hands to get everything off of your hands. If you are consuming any foods, use hand sanitizer or wash your hands. Wipe off any of the countertops, like the kitchen countertops or anything that you touch, so the bacteria does not get into your mouth or on your face. Keep up with a healthy diet by consuming some fruits, vegetables, proteins like nuts, so that you are not snacking on chips and pretzels all the time and consuming that into your body. Do the schoolwork that the school is giving you to branch your mind off of the phones and the video games. Get outside and enjoy the nice weather that we are having. You could go on some bike rides, or you can go hiking, or you can go to the park just to get outside and enjoy this nice weather that we are having.
Thank you all for tuning into my segment of how to keep some healthy habits while being at home. I really hope you all take into consideration some of the things that I said to stay safe, stay healthy, and just be happy. What really warms my heart is how some of these neighborhoods are coming together to build up that level of happiness. I'm going to leave you here with one video of how a neighborhood is building up that happiness by placing rainbows either in their windows, they're going outside, placing some rainbows on the sidewalks, the streets, to build up that level of happiness. I hope you all like this video that I give you. See you next time.
Thanks, Ireland. With how fast information spreads, you may not realize some of the details you have learned about the coronavirus are not true. To clarify what about the virus is a fact and what is just fiction, we head to Alexis Dawkins.
In such a time of uncertainty, it's very easy for misinformation to be spread. It can be hard to fact-check everything you see on your Twitter timeline, Instagram feed, and all the other media you consume. I'm Alexis Dawkins, and to help you differentiate fact from fiction, here's some COVID-19 myth-busting. Number 1. If I order packages from Asian countries, the virus may come on my package. This is completely false. In the time it takes to receive an imported product from somewhere like China, any sort of remnant of COVID that could have come in contact with your package will die in transport. Your package doesn't have an environment like the human body that allows it to thrive and spread, so there's no reason to worry about the virus reaching you in such a manner. Additionally, the number of COVID-19 cases in China have dropped drastically, meaning that your package is almost definitely not coming into contact with an infected person. Although you should always wash any sort of product you buy online, like clothing and dishware, even when not in this situation, to maintain a basic standard of cleanliness. Number 2. I should wear a face mask to keep myself from inhaling the virus. It's important to make the distinction between surgical masks and N95 masks. However, unless you are an infected person or medical professional treating infected people, you should not be wearing these masks. As surgical masks should generally only be worn by infected people, their purpose is to protect those around the infected people from inhaling what they might expel from their body while coughing or sneezing, by creating a barrier between the nose and mouth of the wearer and other people. They will not protect a healthy person from coming in contact with the virus. N95 masks help filter out harmful particles, however they are one use only and somewhat expensive, so they are an extremely important resource for those treating the infected. With the price only going up due to their high demand, hospitals need them desperately, and when the general public purchases them in such high volumes, it only makes the problem worse. N95 masks also have no added benefit for those not frequently interacting with infected people. Number 3. COVID-19 came from the consumption of bat soup in China. This is partially true, and partially may be a bit of a stretch. While not coming from bat soup, COVID-19 did come from bats. Although in bats, it's an intestinal virus, not a respiratory virus. Being an intestinal virus allows it to be spread through contact with feces. The first case of COVID was traced back to a wet market in Wuhan, China. But despite popular opinion, they did not sell bats. It's believed that there was a linking animal that may have consumed or came into contact with bat feces that was sold at this market and consumed by a buyer. Scientists theorize that this animal may be the pangolin. Bats have been a source of food for multiple different countries, not just Asian, for a very long time, possibly having been consumed up to 74,000 years ago. So if the direct consumption of bats caused this, it most likely would have been a problem long before now. However, if you're still worried, China recently banned the farming and consumption of exotic and wild animals, hopefully preventing the spread and consumption of COVID-19. Number 4. I'm young, so even if I were to be infected with COVID, I'll be fine. While COVID-19 is more deadly to the elderly, anybody can be infected, and the number of younger people infected with COVID is steadily rising, even if the death rate is lower. This doesn't mean you should ignore the precautions set to help prevent the spread of the virus, though. Just because you'll survive having COVID doesn't mean that it can't harm other people around you. This includes the elderly, as previously mentioned, and also the immunocompromised. Being immunocompromised means having a weaker immune system due to illness or the use of prescription drugs to treat illness. Immunocompromised people aren't just those with life-threatening illnesses like cancer, but also those with disabilities like my own sister who has Down syndrome. Even asthma can be considered an immunocompromising condition. Not taking care to prevent the spread of COVID can hurt a lot of people you may not even think of. Number 5. There's methods of detecting and treating the virus at home. I don't need to go to the hospital. A medical professional is the only one who can diagnose and treat you for COVID-19. While you may have heard that the virus can be detected by holding your breath a certain amount of time without coughing, or can be treated through exposing yourself to hot or cold temperatures, this simply isn't true. Holding your breath is not an indication of illness. Genuine symptoms are. Information has been put out claiming that COVID is vulnerable to heat and cold, and due to this, rumors have spread that you can kill the virus in multiple temperature-related ways, such as standing in a walk-in freezer, setting a hairdryer to maximum heat and blowing it in your face or up your nose, or even just taking a hot bath. While taking a hot bath may feel nice and calm your nerves, it's not going to treat COVID. In fact, none of these will. The temperature at which COVID becomes vulnerable is far hotter than any human could withstand for an extended period of time. Standing in a freezer will probably make your problems worse with a case of hypothermia. These options are comedic at best and dangerous at worst. If you feel you're experiencing the symptoms of COVID-19, a cough, fever, tiredness, and more, you should absolutely seek medical assistance. You should always call ahead of time before showing up at a doctor's office or hospital, though. All information presented here has been pulled from the Center of Disease Control, the World Health Organization, and the Food and Drug Administration. Though not your only options of sources, these are some of the best places to fact-check and discover information about COVID-19 from an unbiased perspective. If you want to aid in the fight against misinformation, be sure to share what you heard here, or correct false info you hear around you. You'd be surprised how far word of mouth goes. For Parkland TV, I'm Alexis Dawkins. Stay clean, Parkland.
Thanks, Alexis. With the coronavirus outbreak, our nation's leaders have been forced to make some difficult decisions. Explaining the impact of COVID-19 on politics is political correspondent Maya Helma.
Thanks, Kylie. Obviously, every aspect of life is being affected by the coronavirus right now. But what was on the news before this? The upcoming 2020 election. Right now, COVID-19 is so important that pretty much all politics that isn't related to it has been thrown out of the news cycle. This is especially difficult for Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders' campaigns. We're still going to vote for president this November, so having to slow down the campaign is a serious task. Both candidates are still trying to keep their presence virtually through phone calls, tweets, posts, video interviews, and virtual town halls. They're also trying to provide leadership amidst a crisis, releasing their own plans and calling for certain actions related to the coronavirus. On the state level, politics has also been affected, as many states have moved their primary election dates to a later time. The primary election is when voters who are registered member of the party pick a nominee for that party. So for this year, registered Democrats will either vote for Biden or Sanders to face against Trump. Our own state of Pennsylvania moved the primary from April 13th to June 2nd. What effect does this have? Well, it gives both campaigns some much needed time to virtually campaign. It also means that we have to wait longer to predict the winner of the Democratic nomination. Right now, Joe Biden is leading the delegate count and is expected to receive the nomination, but Bernie Sanders still has a sizable number of delegates and is determined to stay in the race for as long as possible. This later date also opens up the electorate to a bit more people, as anyone who turns 18 before June 2nd can now vote, rather than that April date. So if you're a senior and you want to vote, just text VOTER to 788-683 and you can register. All you need is your social security number and driver's license. In addition to a pushed back date, there's also changes going on in how you can vote. Many people are pushing for mail-in voting to eliminate the possibility of even going to the polls. Information about the election is changing every day, as is the coronavirus's impact. For Parkland TV and Film, I'm Maya Halma. Back to you, Kylie.
Thanks, Maya. In times like these, we should remember to thank those who are risking their lives to save those infected. You may not realize how many people are working for the safety of us all. Here's news correspondent Afra Anand with an appreciation for those in the medical field.
The frustrating thing about all of this is it really just feels like it's too little too late. Like we knew it was coming.
Solo 2 sono i medici effettivamente di questo ospedale, perché purtroppo gli altri sono risultati positivi al tampone per il coronavirus.
I have some tears and crying right now because I'm so tired. But I'm going to take a deep breath and keep going on. I think I just needed that, a little letdown. But now I'm going to continue on and powering through.
This is the most scared I've ever been being an ER doctor. And it's not just because of me. It's because I have a wife and a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old at home.
谁抱怨，只是内心都觉得自己那种辛苦，只有家人知道，都懂我们辛苦。有时候每天，因为我是外地的嘛。
People say it's our job. Not our job, it's our duty, and it's what we signed up for.
With the rise of COVID-19 cases around the world, doctors and nurses are going through the most rigorous time of their professional careers. They are taking on an intense amount of pressure of not only treating their own patients, but taking on hundreds of new patients every day and remaining in a highly dangerous environment, hoping to get home to their own lives and families. 13-hour or more shifts, limited supplies and resources, with almost no help, which sounds like a nightmare, is the new reality for what is now being called the front line against fighting the virus that has gone from critical to intense. It is crucial for us to take a moment to appreciate those that are helping to fight against this pandemic and recognize their acts of heroism and celebrate the moments of victory.
If you have a friend or a colleague or anybody you know in the healthcare industry who's working on the front lines, just send them a text saying, thinking about you, God bless you, love you, thank you for what you're doing. That's all we need.
On behalf of a grateful country, thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you, Afra. To end this off-the-air edition of Parkland TV, Emily Babinchek gives us a rundown of our at-home Spirit Week.
Hey Parkland, for our 4th week off due to COVID-19, we thought we'd bring back some school spirit and host a virtual Spirit Week. Monday, wear your favorite Parkland attire. Sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats, even that shirt you probably still have from 5th grade graduation. Throw it on and post a pic. Tuesday is Tiger King Tuesday. If you haven't heard of Joe Exotic or watched his show, you're missing out. I highly recommend doing your research for this day. But if not, here are some tips. Anything animal print, plaid, or with sequins will work. Bonus points if you have a mullet or a mustache. Wednesday, dress like you would for school day. If you roll out of bed every morning and throw on sweatpants and a sweatshirt, wear that. If not, throw on whatever your favorite outfit for school is and pretend you haven't been stuck in your house for 3 weeks straight. Thursday is dress like your favorite teacher day. We all miss them, even if we don't care to admit it. Here, I'm channeling my inner Foogie, or you could go a little more formal. I see you, Mrs. Bennick. And finally, Friday, dress to impress. Pull out your old homecoming dress, maybe your favorite pair of khakis. We clean up well, Parkland. Let's see it. Ooh, yes. Okay. All right. You can. Okay. We hope to see everyone participate in our virtual Spirit Week, and we'd love to see what you come up with. See you soon, Parkland.
Thanks, Emily. That's all we have for you today on Parkland TV Off the Air. I'm Kylie Duff. Make sure to follow our YouTube and Twitter at Parkland TV Film for more content and updates. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Parkland TV. Stay safe and stay at home.